He'd been wounded in the foot and in the shoulder at Gettysburg, and was just back to the regiment. By his pallor, even standing was not easy for him. He said, "Gentlemen, it is as you may have guessed. Our brigade and our division are next to receive the new repeater, the AK-47 they call it. Here," he pointed to the stranger in the suit of many muddy colors, "is Mr. Benny Lang, who will show you how to operate the rifle, so you can go on and teach your men. Mr. Lang." Lang jumped lightly down from the wagon. He was about 5'10", dark, and on the skinny side. His clothes bore no rank badges of any sort, but he carried himself like a soldier. "I usually get 2 questions at a time like this," he said. "The first one is, why don't you teach everyone yourself? Sorry, but we haven't the manpower. Today, my friends and I are working with General Kirkland's brigade. That's you people. The 11th North Carolina, the 26th North Carolina, the 44th North Carolina, and the 52nd North Carolina. Tomorrow, we'll be with General Cook's brigade, and so on. You'll manage. You have to be more than stupid to screw up an AK-47. You have to be an idiot, and even then it's not easy." Listening to him, Cardell found himself frowning. Camp rumor said these fellows in the funny clothes were not merely from North Carolina, but from his own home country, Nash. Lang didn't sound like a Carolina man, though, or like any kind of Southerner. He didn't sound like a Yankee, either. In the past 2 years, Cardell had heard plenty of Yankee accents. The first sergeant kept listening. "The other question I hear is, why bother trying anything new when we're happy with our regular rifles? I'd sooner show you why than tell you. Who's your best chap at Springfield or Enfield or whatever you use?" All eyes swung to the regimental ordnance sergeant. He was a polite, soft-spoken man. He looked around to see if anyone else would volunteer. When no one did, he took a step forward out of line. "Reckon I am, sir. George Hines." "Very good," Lang said. "Would you be so kind as to fetch your weapon and ammunition for it? And while he's doing that, Private Whitley, why don't you move the wagon so we don't frighten the horses?" "Sure will." Whitley drove the team perhaps 50 feet, then jumped down and walked back over to watch what was going on. Ordnance Sergeant Hines returned a minute or so later, rifle musket on his shoulder. He carried the piece like a part of him, as befit any man who wore a star in the angle of his sergeant's stripes. Benny Lang pointed to a tall bank of earth that faced away from the soldiers' huts. "Is that what you use for target practice?" "Yes, sir, it is," Hines answered. Lang trotted over, pinned a circular paper target to the bank. He trotted back to the group, then said, "Ordnance Sergeant Hines, why don't you put a couple of bullets in that circle for us, fast as you can load and fire?" "I'll do that," Hines said, while the men who stood between him and the target moved hastily out of the way. Watching the ordnance sergeant handle his rifle, Nate Cardell thought, was like being back on the target range at Camp Mangum outside of Raleigh, hearing the command, "Load in 9 times. Load." Hines did everything perfectly, smoothly, just as the manual said he should. To load, he held the rifle upright between his feet, with the muzzle in his left hand, and with his right already going to the cartridge box he wore at his belt. Cardell imagined the invisible drill master barking, "Handle cartridge." Hines brought the paper cartridge from the box to his mouth, bit off the end, poured the powder down the muzzle of his piece, and put the mini-ball in the muzzle. The bluntly pointed bullet was about the size of the last joint of a man's finger, with 3 grooves around its hollow base, which expanded to fill the grooves on the inside of the rifle barrel. At the remembered command of, "Draw rammer," the long piece of iron emerged from its place under the rifle barrel. Next in the series was, "Ram," which the ordnance sergeant did, with a couple of sharp strokes before returning the ramrod to its tube. At "Prime," he half-cocked the hammer with his right thumb, then took out a copper percussion cap and put it on the nipple. The next 4 steps went in quick sequence. "Shoulder," brought the weapon up. At "Ready," it went down again.